Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we eliminate 4 drivers to determine the final 4. Ryan Blaney, Jesse Love, Carson Hocevar, and William Byron all well below the cut line. So it makes it pretty straightforward for the 4 drivers above the cut line, including Ty Gibbs, who won his way into the Final 4 last episode there in Atlanta, and then of course Kyle Larson's in a really good points position. Myself and my teammate of Connor Zilish are only 1 point apart, but we are, well, 15 plus points above the cut line. Now if Ryan Blaney shows up and has a race-winning race car, then that turns it into a 1-point race between myself and that number 88 to make it into the Final 4, similar to what we saw between Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell in real life in the 2025 season at Martinsville just a few weeks ago. So that was something I was keeping in the back of my mind as we've got the target colors on our beautiful number 8 Junior Motorsports Cadillac coming into this weekend, and really just hoping that we don't find ourselves in that position, because I would love to have 2 Junior Motorsports cars make the Final 4 alongside a Hendrick car versus Gibbs. It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out, of course, now as we fast forward now into qualifying here Saturday afternoon with a goal of a 20.286 on the board here. 1 lap to get it right, and I got through 1 and 2 pretty well, so I was right off the bat pretty happy with how things were going as we head down into turn number 3, and the question is, can we kind of keep this momentum as we roll through 3 out of turn 4? Got tight actually and hit the outside wall, so there goes that. We still hit a 19.9 flat, and even after that mistake we still go P12, so there's some decent speed in this number 8 Cadillac. Not sure about race winning speed, but of course only time's going to tell, as Hocevar, must-win scenario, on pole position over Kyle Larson, Elliott Heim, Byron in a must-win of course as well. Really just about everybody but Ryan Blaney is in a must-win, but I even categorize Blaney in a must-win depending on how myself and my teammate of Connor Zilish run today. Kyle Larson, he's on cruise control to make this Final 4. He just needs to make sure nothing goes wrong today now as we get ready to go racing in Martinsville. First, we do have the Amazon Prime Series from Martinsville, where Ty Dillon picked up the win over Anthony Alfredo and Caden Kvapel, Suarez, Sage Karam, all in the top 5 as you see me scrolling through the rest of your finishing order. Now, though, it's time for some Martinsville Cup Series action here Sunday afternoon, and I'm excited for this one, mainly just excited to kind of hopefully get through this race and be able to focus on another attempt at the Final 4. This would be, what, 3 consecutive seasons of making the Final 4 if we pull this off. It's not been a pretty playoff run. We have had more non-top 10s than we've had actual top 10s in the playoffs. It really just hasn't quite gone our way, but after today we're going to have 3 races left on the season to determine a champion, and hopefully today we will decide that we'll be one of those drivers fighting for a championship in that 3-race Final 4 on the way. Zane Smith to the back after failing optical scanning station multiple times. We'll line up behind the 29 Andretti Global Honda Civic of Ryan Preece as Carson Hocevar, Kyle Larson set to lead the field of green. Green flag is out, and we kick things off for the round of 8 elimination race. Down into turn number 1 we go, and we'll settle in behind that number 29 Joey Logano to the inside. They're 3 wide in front of us there. Jesse Love's on the 3rd lane out there, and I'm going to jump to the outside of Preece to catch him off guard, and we'll take the position. Ryan Blaney to my inside. Ryan Blaney, not a great starting position, still winless on the season. Is he going to have the speed to go forward? Well, right off the bat on the exit of the corner down into turn 1, I could tell that I was pulling Blaney down the straightaway a little bit, so that's a pretty telltale sign that that car's not going to be that great. Now he's on the inside lane, so he's in the preferred lane, meaning he can gain some track position no matter what, so we're gonna have to give it another 10 laps or so, 10-15 laps to really kind of get an idea of what that 23 has. Jesse Love in the 81 must-win scenario situation, just like his of course Alliance teammate there of Ryan Blaney, and right off the bat not quite seeing the speed out of that number 81 here, but this is a long race. Carson Hocevar, who's also in that must-win, currently out in front, and same for that 24 of William Byron in a must-win. He's up there in the conversation. Byron has had his back against the wall every round of the playoffs, and he's found a way to get through. Can he do it one more time to get into the Final 4 as we are starting to make our way forward? We've passed 81. We're back to the inside of the 29 of Ryan Preece, and we'll pass him for P11 with 22 to go on the stage. Stage 1 very short, only 27 laps of racing at Martinsville. Very, very short period of time here now as we would eventually finally get clear. Kind of used up the 29 a little bit on the exit of the corner, but we do clear him. And as we head down into turn number 3, we're right on the back of Ryan Blaney, and you can see right off the exit of turn 4 get so much better of a run. And as we go up the inside, we're going to pass him for P10. I mean, as it stands right now, yeah, I mean, I don't really count him into the conversation. The only really driver in question right now is that number 4 of Hocevar, who's out in front. William Byron's running up in the top 3, but he's a bit off the pace. He's kind of stacking up some drivers, so that tells me he doesn't quite have the speed capable of winning this race right now as well. So the only must-win driver that seems to have winning pace, at least in stage 1, is the number 4 of Carson Hocevar. Now, we're not going to show live updates on the points because it's pretty straightforward. Of course, those bottom 4 need to win. If they are in a position where that could happen late in this race, we will start to get some live updates now, as we have started to put some pressure on Kyle Larson. Larson was actually taking a pretty defensive line down the straightaways, kind of fading off to the left side, making sure I couldn't go up his inside, so it was making a pass for 9th place a bit difficult, as he's behind the number 22 of Logano, dealing with some lap traffic now, as I would actually finally get up the inside of the number 5. Behind us, we got Christopher Bell as well in the conversation, but we clear Larson, move ourselves into P9. Larson he doesn't even need to have a good day. He just needs to really basically run top 15 all day, and he'll be fine to get into the final 4, and that's where he benefits from the strong playoff run he's had. But he is continuing to fight, and I'm continuing to fight. We're 3 wide with Larson. Logano in the middle here now, as we're to the back of Chris Buescher, your Charlotte Roval winner, as we clear both Logano and Larson. We've got Buescher and Heim late in the stage now, and we've got a new race leader, Chase Elliott, out in front, of course, out early in the playoffs in that round of 12 in his final few races with Hendrick Motorsports before he goes off to start his own team under his own name, as we're 3 wide up the inside now with Buescher and Heim with 2 laps to go. I'm looking in my mirror and I'm watching one specific driver follow me with these moves. That's the 81 of Jesse Love, who's been continuing to claw his way forward, so don't rule out that 81, as up ahead Connor Zilish is to the inside of the 24 of William Byron, so he's going to outscore me in points here now. So if there is like a Hocevar or a Love, for example, winning this race, well, Zilish will now have the advantage over myself, and I would actually get knocked out of the playoffs here. But of course, that is something later in the race to worry about, as Chase Elliott, he's going to win stage number 1 over the 4 of Hocevar. Ty Gibbs up there in the top 3, then Zilish, Byron, myself coming to the line for P6 over Love, Priest, Logano, and Heim. Kyle Larson finishes outside of the top 10. We're going to pit for 4 tires. Feel not really in dire need of adjustments. I was pretty happy with how the car was driving at this point. Kyle Larson down to P12 as you see the rest of the order there as we get ready to go green for the second middle stage of this race. But overall, quite content with the way this car has been driving, and we'll be P6, 3rd row outside here behind our teammate of Connor Zilish there. Ty Gibbs, of course, won in Atlanta. He got a bit aggressive to get that win. Of course, drove through me earlier in that final stage to kind of make his way through the field, and then, of course, he got himself in position. I mean, we took a gamble on track position, and it almost worked. We almost won our way into the final 4, but I just couldn't hold off the speed and the momentum that Ty Gibbs had. So, unfortunate situation there, but Ty Gibbs, of course, now his 2nd win on the season, and now he has a very real chance to go and not only get more wins, but also a 2nd Cup Series championship here now as we settle in behind the 81 of Love. 2 best friends side by side between Love and Zilish. We're leaning on the left rear quarter panel of that number 88 here as we head down into turn number 3. 32 laps in stage 2, so not a whole lot longer than what we just had in stage 1 of 27 laps, but nonetheless, we clear the 88 down the front straightaway of Zilish, and now there's Hocevar starting to tumble down the order. So now one must-win driver starting to go backwards, another must-win's going forwards. Byron's actually hanging on to the top 3 right now. That 24 Valvoline Cadillac, you can tell there's some determination because you can see right off the bat off a restart that 24 doesn't have the speed capable of winning this race now, but he is certainly holding his own, keeping his track position, because you never know what's going to happen in these races in NASCAR Heat 5. You know, one of my complaints about NASCAR 25 is how kind of predictable everything is. The one thing that is different in this game is it's the most unpredictable NASCAR game. It's a complete opposite, and that's something I love about NASCAR Heat 5, and I can tell you guys right off the bat that we are not done with NASCAR Heat 5 after this season. There will be a new career mode on the way, and it's one that you guys don't really expect, but if you tuned into a recent live stream, you know exactly what's coming, so stay tuned on that, because a lot of people thought it was a Car of Tomorrow career mode. No, we're going maybe a little bit earlier than that, so stay tuned. Nonetheless, continuing to pressure this 81, and the 81's doing the same thing Kyle Larson did to me in stage 1, where he kind of fades off to the left, but the caution comes out, so his defensive moves no longer matter, because we have got an engine issue there on the number 29. And that's actually Greg Galding in that car for Colleague Racing, or sorry, Andretti Global this weekend now, as we get ready to go racing here for a restart in stage number 2. Chase Elliott, he's been in control of this race since he took the lead late in that first stage, and he continues about halfway through the second stage to lead us down into turn 1. Bit of a slow restart actually from my number 8 target, Cadillac. 3 wide behind us, Zilish going through there. Ryan Preece has been working his way forward. Don't rule out that 28, your Daytona 500 winner and champion now, as we continue to follow that 81 of Jesse Love now on the exit at turn number 4. He's to the inside of his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate of Ty Gibbs. Love winning would put 2 Gibbs cars in that final 4, and then a Hendrick car of Kyle Larson, and then it would be, of course, a showdown between myself and my teammate of Connor Zilish here now, as we look to clear the 54 Monster Energy Camry. How about William Byron just slowly picking off some cars? He's now up into the top 2. P2 for Byron, as I was starting to make some headway and actually look around the outside of Jesse Love right here, because he was kind of taking that same defensive lane on the exit of the corner, and I just, for whatever reason, when they run that kind of left lane, I can't get the run on them either to even go up the inside anyways, so it just, yeah, it's really just kind of go to the outside or wait for them to stop doing that right there. I mean, Love doing nothing wrong, he has to win this race, and you can see Chase Elliott has driven away from everybody right now. That 9 car is super quick as the 43 of Gregson goes around off a turn 4, multiple cars getting involved there, as well as the 55 of Taylor Gray right at the end. Caution is going to fly, and everybody is going to stay on the racetrack and get ready to go back racing here now, as this is going to give us a late stage 2 restart, and now we're going to be on the outside, and now Byron's going to be on the outside, so this is going to open the door for Jesse Love to maybe get through now as well. Watch out for Connor Zilish behind us in P5. Less than 10 laps to go here in stage number 2. Ty Gibbs there lining up on our bumper. He's forced 3 wide by Corey Heim as well as Ryan Preece. Now that helps me get away from those guys as we exit turn 2 down the back stretch. We have a big gap between Zilish and Preece, but I'm going to try and commit to this outside, see what we can do right now, as we're right on the back of that Valvoline number 24. Chase Elliott clear over Love and Zilish now as we hit 6 laps to go in stage 2. Ryan Preece to my inside as well, and that number 29, watch out for him as he continues to move his way forward. This is Ryan Preece's type of racetrack. He loves these flat, short tracks, and this is an opportunity for him to run well, and he is showcasing that here today. We were so surprised that Ryan Preece never really had the speed all season long, of course. We really expected more. He made the playoffs, of course, by being in the top 30 in the standings, just barely, but we expected that team and that driver to, honestly, in my expectation, was a top 15, top 20 driver. It just never seemed to work out, but here he is showing up. If you guys remember, you know, Andretti Global late last season, they won the second to last race with Bubba Wallace as well, so it seems like they kind of find some mojo a little bit late in the season, and then it kind of disappears for the rest of the season beforehand as we clear the 24. Byron now starting to remove himself from the conversation as Zilish is up in P2 coming to the final lap of stage number 2, and Chase Elliott's been in complete control, but watch out for that 88. Connor Zilish actually seems to be able to kind of hold his own against that 9 of Chase Elliott here as we head down this back straightaway into turn 3 and 4 for the final time, and off of turn 4, Chase Elliott, he's going to take it. Chase Elliott takes stage 2, sweeps the first 2 stages. We'll take P4, and once again, Zilish outscores us on points, meaning he has the advantage on me by several points at this point going into the final stage, or not several, but a few if we do have a new winner, but we're going to take tires and fuel, and once again, not really looking to make any adjustments on the car. The car was driving fine. At this point, I kind of felt like we just kind of have what we have, as Kyle Larson is down to 18th, and yeah, not a good run for the number 5 as we gain 2 positions, and Chase Elliott has a poor pit stop and he's outside of the top 10. This changes everything, as Connor Zilish and myself will lead the field to the green flag with 75 laps to go to kick off the final stage, and Chase Elliott now is going to have to spend this final stage trying to work his way through some traffic. I'm not sure how far back he got put, but we at least know it's outside of the top 10. So Chase Elliott's got some work to do, and once you take the fastest car out of the equation, I mean, it's you know, kind of all hands on deck. It's the gloves off hockey style as Connor Zilish leads, but we know Love Love is just about as quick as that 88. I'm just as quick as the 88 and the 81. So now I felt like, you know, we were racing for second, maybe third today. Now all of a sudden, if Chase Elliott stays out of the equation, we have got a very, very real chance to maybe go for a race victory here to finally get ourselves back in victory lane. I mean, we've won so much that it feels like it's been forever now, as Connor Zilisch by lap 74 has driven away. And now I'm realizing, okay, the 88's actually a lot quicker than I thought. And the 81 of Jesse Love, he's doing nothing wrong. I just simply can't get the run on him. I can get to his back bumper, and then off of turn 4, we need to get a run. And we actually get a little bit of a run right here, but I'm not close enough unless I just want to absolutely sail it off on a must-win driver. But here we go, out of turn 4, lap 77. This is the run we need. So now we get a nice run. We look up the inside. This will move us through into P2. Ryan Preece has been just kind of beating down my back bumper. He is right there in the conversation. I think that 29, outside of Chase Elliott, might be the fastest car here in this final stage. So we clear the 81. Ryan Preece is going to come through, and as it stands right now, the final 4 is not going to change. It's going to be Kyle Larson, it's going to be Ty Gibbs, it's going to be myself, and it's going to be my teammate of Connor Zilisch. And as Connor Zilisch was working his way through some lap traffic, I am starting to reel in that number 88 just a little bit here, as actually somebody's in the pit lane. I believe it was Ross Chastain who had actually had to come into the pits with an engine issue, so that might be night over for the number 45 Busch Light driver, who's still winless with his new team this season. Now as we continue towards the end of lap 84, we've been forced 3 wide. Ryan Preece shoves through his teammate of Carson Gwampel, and I'm on the outside of that when it happens. So Preece goes through into P2. He's saying, hey, I think I got a car that can win this race. I am going to not waste any time, and he goes through for the second position. Fair play, but I mean, just be ready for us to maybe give it back if the opportunity is available to just send him 3 wide. I mean, we might as well go for it now. It's become to lap 86, and actually it looks like we're going to be able to pass him the clean way just about here as we're to the inside again of the 29. Hold on, here we go. Now we're going to make it 3 wide on Preece. Say, hey, you're going to do it to me. I'm going to give it right back to you now, and now you're going to get screwed over because here comes Jesse Love up the inside as well. Actually, he's going to stay clear of the 81, but he would eventually get past. Now, as we have run down Connor Zilisch as we're lapping Ryan Blaney, and actually we're right to the back. I think the 88's got an issue. Zilisch is slowing into turn number 1, and he's losing it. He goes up into the outside wall. Nearly, he's got a tire down. He's going to crash as we get involved in it as well. Drop the 3rd. Zilisch is head on in the outside wall. Playoff implications, maybe. Caution is out from the lead to the outside wall for Connor Zilisch, and fortunately for him, he is not out of the race. So that's one of the positives, but the negative is he just gave up a lot of points. But it gets even better though, because Ryan Blaney just went a lap down, and Blaney is not running well at all. So Ryan Blaney is the only one that could even threaten Zilisch on points, but with his situation, that will not happen. Chase Elliott, after pitting up to P8, everybody can basically make it from here to the end of the race. So this is a straight up fight. Now, if we were to get a caution, say between lap 100 and lap 110, we would probably be a lap or 2 short on fuel. So you would see everybody still come into the pits, including myself. But if there's not a caution until late in the race, nobody's going to pit at all. However, Ryan Preece, now out in front in that number 29. He takes control as we clear Love for P2. How about Joey Logano up here in the conversation as well, having a really strong run here from Martinsville at the paperclip now as we head off into turn number 1. Logano with 1 win on the season when he, threw a different strategy call into the mix and shocked everybody at Pocono. Now as Chase Elliott, though, has worked his way up to P3 by lap 99. Preece running away from me. I got no speed for him, and now Chase Elliott's up here on the conversation just behind us. So Chase Elliott, he is about to have something to say, I think, about that 29 of Ryan Preece kind of taking over the lead of this race now. Elliott's been spending all stage long just trying to recover from that poor pit stop at the end of the second stage. So now Chase Elliott is back up here in the conversation as we head off into turn 1 with 40 laps to go. Chase Elliott loses a tire into the outside wall. Caution is out just when he got back. It's over for the number 9. He's coming into the pits. Everyone's going to stay out, and I'm not sure if the 9 is done or if he is still going, but we're going to find out here momentarily when we get ready for the restart. Nobody pits. I was surprised, to be honest. I thought a lot of guys were going to come in, but it's just a 9, and I can confirm Chase Elliott is still racing. So, honestly, I think Chase Elliott would rather be done at this point now. That's kind of worst case scenario. You have a bad pit stop, you work your way back up to the top 3, and just when you get to the top 3, your tire goes down. Look in the mirror. Kyle Larson back up in the conversation, 3 wide with Gibbs in the background now, but here comes Carson Host Hocevar into turn number 3. Hurricane Hocevar is trying to come through into P2. My Junior Motorsports teammate, who's in a must-win scenario, has entered the conversation late in this race. He led laps early, lost the lead, kind of faded back, and now we're into the closing portion of this race. He has suddenly found himself back in the conversation. Does Carson Hocevar have an opportunity to take this win away from Ryan Preece? But now I'm in a bit of a dilemma as well, because if Hocevar wins, he knocks out Connor Zilish, who's my other teammate. So it's like, what do I do if I have a chance to pass Hocevar? Do I take that opportunity and keep him out of the Final Four to keep Zilish in? Or I really don't know. It's a really awkward dilemma, and in this current moment, I wish I was either driving away from everybody or I was running like 5th, so I wasn't in the conversation to have this situation going on. But as we come to 24 laps to go, lap traffic now playing a role, and the question is now, will it stay green to the end of this race? Ryan Preece is, I mean, probably faster than the 4, but now the lap traffic's allowing things to close up, but Hocevar decides to stay behind the 32 of Corey Day. I said, okay, I'm just going to go over to the outside then. So that's your decision at that point, so that made it pretty easy for me. He made a mistake. I'm able to go around the 4. I don't know if Hocevar is done for, though. He's moved up in behind myself here now as we continue on. Christopher Bell as well up in the conversation now. He's up into the 4th position as we continue to just kind of follow that 29 of Ryan Preece. He seems to just have really a really... Oh, hold on. We've got some smoke up ahead, and it's from Nick Sanchez, I think, his teammate there of Preece. Into turn number 1, we've been hit by Corey Day and Bell. They were 3 wide. It's all chaos here as we exit turn 2, and Preece is going to go through. So are we. Hocevar is going to follow through as well, but he's got to get through the 2 car of Todd Gilliland first before he's even clear. So now, as we were continuing to go forward, Ryan Preece continues, unfortunately for me, to just absolutely get through this lap traffic with very little issue. Less than 20 laps to go, but the lap traffic is still keeping me close to the number 29. I mean, we're practically right there. I could have run into the back of him if I really wanted to as we come to the start-finish line. So now 18 laps to go in stage number 3, and here we are still right on the back of the 29. Hocevar is still in the top 3. Do not rule out Hocevar yet before this race comes to a conclusion, but Ryan Preece now had gotten some clear racetrack as we were lapping his teammate of Carson Kvapel, and that clear racetrack was very, very important for the 29 because he would continue to open up the gap. I simply do not have the speed for that 29. You can see in the center and exit of the corner, he just takes off, and the longer this run goes green, the worse for me. Not because of him driving away, because handling gets worse. So we've been in this position before where I can get to the back of somebody, but I can't get the car to stabilize on the exit of the corner because it's so loose. Therefore, I can't generate a run, and I'm basically stuck on their back bumper because I give up too much time down the straightaway, and I can't ever make a move. And I feel like we are now entering that territory with 11 laps to go. As you can see now, Preece to the outside of the 34 of Eric Jones, trying to work on the back of Brent Cruz. Brent Cruz was not making things easy, however, for the 29, and that's brought me back into the conversation. But not only me, here comes Carson Hocevar one more time as we're right to the back of the 29. Hocevar had now gone to the inside, and he was going through to the lead. Hocevar to the inside of me and Preece, and I'm going to the outside because I think the outside is the way to go. Look up ahead, Connor Zilish. He's gone nowhere in this final run. After that tire failure and crash, he is down here outside of the top 20 with 5 laps to go. Hocevar has planted himself on the bottom. I said, you made that decision. I'm sticking here up on the outside here. We're right on the back of the 29, but you can see what I'm talking about. We hit the exit of the corner, and my car just can't take off anymore like the 29. So we can get to him, but I can't make a move on him because on the exit, I'm just getting blown away. As we exit turn 2 on the side of the 31, Hocevar drops back down into P3 now as we come to 2 laps to go, and that 29's looking good now. I mean, we might have a chance to do something going into the final lap, but it's probably not going to happen as we roll through the corner. Hold on, and I slide on the exit again. Not close enough now. I would love to make a move here, but I can't get to the inside as we head down into turn number 3, and we're approaching the final lap here from Martinsville, and again, sliding off turn 4, and the 29 has the gap. He's jumped to the inside. This is maybe our chance to make a move around the outside. Hold on, he makes it up the inside of the 15 of Ruggiero, an aggressive move, and that's going to seal the deal for Preece. It's not going to happen for any of us, and especially Hocevar. It won't happen for him as we force the 3 wide into turn 3. Ryan Preece off of turn 4. He's going to take victory in Martinsville as we come runner-up. Carson, host of our So Close, made really all the wrong lane choices in the end, ends up third over Bell. How about Josh Berry in the top 5, Bowman, Heim, Gibbs, Reddick, Briscoe in the top 10, Kyle Larson in P12, and at the end of the day, the final 4 does not change from what it was at the beginning of the race. One of those guys needed to win. It didn't happen. Ryan Blaney really needed to run way better than the 88. That also didn't happen. And at the end of the day, the final 4 is going to consist of Ty Gibbs, your Atlanta winner, Kyle Larson, who has been oh so dominant since the summer, and then myself and my teammate of Connor Zilish. It is going to be a super exciting Final 4. 3 races: Homestead, Miami, Bristol Motor Speedway, and the season will cap off at Kansas Speedway. Whoever has the most points accumulated from the stages and race finishes at the end of those 3 races will become champion. We look to go back-to-back 2 consecutive NASCAR Cup Series championships. It all starts next episode. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.